Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into the fascinating, unexpected, and frankly, the downright hilarious corners of pop culture and beyond. Today, we're tackling a character that, at first glance, seems like pure comedic relief, someone you might easily dismiss. But dig deeper, and you discover a pivotal, surprisingly complex figure. We're asking, can a character who is, well, by all accounts, a loud, boastful fraud, actually be one of the most crucial and beloved figures in one of the biggest anime franchises ever? Yes, we're talking about none other than Mr. Satan from the iconic Dragon Ball universe. Okay, let's unpack this. Our mission today is to go far beyond the superficial laughs and the exaggerated ego. We're going to reveal the truly complex, surprisingly impactful character of Mr. Satan, extracting the most important nuggets of insight from the sources we've gathered. We want to understand how this self-proclaimed, often terrified champion became an undeniable force for good and a beloved anchor of humanity in a world of godlike powers.
Right. And what's fascinating here is how truly unique Mr. Satan's position is within the entire Dragon Ball narrative. I mean, when you consider the vast cosmos of characters, from planet-destroying aliens to beings that can bend reality, he stands as this perfectly, utterly normal human being. He's us.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the personification of humanity's relatable fear, are often terrified, yet sometimes incredibly brave, representative in battles that are completely beyond our comprehension. His very presence constantly highlights the immense power gap between the Z-Fighters and regular Earthlings, yet paradoxically, he still manages to be profoundly important. He's a comedic character, yes, but one whose ordinary humanity makes the extraordinary events of Dragon Ball relatable and even palatable for the average viewer.
And what an introduction he had. Mr. Satan didn't just walk onto the scene. He burst onto it with all the subtlety of a supernova, complete with flashing lights, roaring crowds, and an ego to match. For those of you who are following the manga, his initial appearance kicked off in the new Kami-sama, quickly establishing him as a complete charlatan and, well, a comedic foil to the escalating power levels. In the anime, he debuted in Dunde's Dragon, similarly setting the stage for his over-the-top personality. We then see him prominently across Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball Super, and virtually countless games, cementing his place as an undeniable staple of the franchise. It's good to remember, he wasn't just some random fighter who showed up. He was the reigning world martial arts champion.
Right.
Here's the kicker. He actually won that title fair and square, mind you, at least within the context of normal human capabilities.
Yeah, that's key. This was back in the Dragon Ball Z era, specifically during periods when Goku and the rest of the ridiculously powerful Z fighters were conveniently absent or entirely preoccupied elsewhere.
Right, like off on Namek or battling androids.
Exactly. So among normal Earthlings, the kind of people we might encounter, he genuinely was the best. He was the pinnacle of human martial arts.
Which made his subsequent encounters with true cosmic power all the more hilariously devastating for him. And he certainly looked the part, didn't he? The sources paint a vivid picture of him. A tall, muscular man with a notably hairy physique, almost imposing in his public appearances.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't miss that distinct black curly afro, his signature mustache that seamlessly merges into well-trimmed sideburns, and that classic cleft chin.
The whole package.
Totally. He's almost always seen in his meticulously tailored martial arts uniform or a very fitted, often brightly colored suit, frequently accented with a dramatic red or white cape that billows behind him, strategically displaying his notably hairy chest and arms.
He embodied the quintessential professional grappler or showman, didn't he? A visual spectacle designed to impress and intimidate.
At least until he faced someone who could actually fight. That larger-than-life image was a key part of his initial appeal and later his comedic genius. What kind of person creates such an elaborate persona just to sustain a lie? And how much of that look was pure, unadulterated ego versus a calculated performance?
That's a great question, because his public persona was indeed meticulously crafted, or perhaps it was simply an unfiltered, unapologetic explosion of his gargantuan ego. He was the quintessential showman, always on.
Always.
He boasted endlessly on television, constantly proclaiming himself the best fighter in the world, the savior of mankind, despite often being utterly terrified. His egomania was truly off the charts. But what truly solidified his place, not just as a champion, but as brilliant comedic relief, was the stark, humiliating contrast between his self-proclaimed strength and his actual, truly pathetic attempts to fight self.
Oh, those were priceless.
Those moments were not just funny. They were, as the sources highlight, hilariously endearing, precisely because you could see the fear, the desperation, and yet he still tried to maintain the charade, even in the face of certain annihilation.
Yeah.
This loudmouth, who was genuinely a champion in his own right among normal humans, was suddenly thrown into a situation so far beyond his wildest imagination, and that juxtaposition was pure narrative gold. It allowed us, the audience, to laugh at him, but also, surprisingly, to root for him because he was trying, in his own deluded way. This contrast wasn't just for laughs, though. It served a crucial, almost invaluable narrative function. He was, as the sources put it, a loudmouth with a heart of gold and a healthy dose of cowardice. And this unique combination really appealed to the audience because it made him relatable.
Totally. Flawed, like us.
Exactly. But he had moments of surprising decency. To preserve his status, his fame, and his incredibly fragile ego, he developed a pattern of claiming the Z fighters Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo as his disciples.
Right, I taught them everything they know.
Precisely. He'd tell the press he taught them everything they knew, or that they were merely students following his lead. While this was obviously self-serving and completely fabricated, it produced good results. This public deception was so incredibly effective that his reputation deceives even aliens and Frieza's honor guard.
No way, really?
Yeah. They believed he was responsible for defeating cosmic threats like Frieza and even Bojack. It's quite remarkable how his self-promotion, despite its falsehoods, had genuine positive consequences for the planet, effectively acting as a shield against lesser threats. His fame became a deterrent. It's also worth noting how his appearance evolved over time, subtly mirroring his character's journey and the passage of time within the series.
Oh yeah, the balding spot.
Right. By the end of Dragon Ball Z and throughout Dragon Ball GT, his signature black curly afro became noticeably half bald at the center of his head, and wrinkles began to appear around his eyes and mouth, signs of his increasing age. His iconic mustache also started to connect more visibly to his sideburns.
He got a bit less buff in Super, didn't he?
He did. In Dragon Ball Super, his once muscular physique visibly weakened. This wasn't just natural aging, which of course plays a part. It was explicitly stated to be a direct result of him indulging heavily in his fame and prioritizing his celebrity status over maintaining his rigorous martial arts training.
Okay. Makes sense.
It's a subtle but important visual detail that shows his focus shifted from genuine, albeit Earth-level physical prowess, to simply basking in his celebrity and the financial rewards that came with it. It underlines the extent of his transformation from a genuine, albeit boastful martial artist to a true showman.
Now let's talk about the Cell games. This is truly where things get really interesting because despite all the bluster, all the exaggerated claims, and his utter complete lack of actual combat prowess against a being like Cell, Mr. Satan played a pivotal, albeit entirely accidental, role. It's truly a testament to the idea that sometimes the greatest impacts come from the most unexpected places, from the most unlikely of characters. For an audience like ours, who might have seen these moments countless times, have you ever really considered just how critical his bumbling presence was? First off, his survival during Cell's casual attacks was pure, unadulterated, sheer luck.
Oh, totally. Cell just swatted him.
Exactly. Cell wasn't even trying to defeat him in a meaningful way. He just swatted him away like a bothersome fly, a mere annoyance. But this unintentional survival, coupled with Mr. Satan's subsequent overblown claims of victory to the press, he even claims Cell was a mere trick, a hoax he had seen through, inadvertently provided the perfect cover for the Z Fighters' actions. The public, completely unaware of the true powerhouses battling Cell, the literal fate of the world hanging in the balance, believed Mr. Satan was the world's savior. They bought his story hook, line, and sinker.
And surprisingly, this grand deception, this convenient lie, was exactly what Earth needed at the time to prevent mass panic and maintain some semblance of order. It's a truly wild, almost paradoxical outcome of his inflated ego.
But the most critical moment, the true game changer, came with Android 16. For those who remember, 16's head, battered and broken from Cell's brutal assault, lay near Mr. Satan.
Right, that moment.
In a moment of genuine, albeit clumsy and fear-driven courage, Mr. Satan actually risks his life to get Android 16's head to Gohan.
He could have run.
He could have just run away, but he didn't. He picked up the head and, with an almost comical amount of effort, threw it to Gohan. As Gohan cradles the head, 16 delivers his final, heartfelt words about protecting life, about cherishing the natural world, and about how it's okay to fight for what's right and just.
Such a powerful speech.
And this, as the sources emphasize, was the ultimate trigger for Gohan's monumental, earth-shattering Super Saiyan 2 transformation.
Yeah, that push he needed.
Without Mr. Satan's unexpected presence, without his accidental yet crucial act of tossing that head, Gohan might never have reached that devastating level of power, that crucial moment of fury, and Cell might never have been defeated. It's truly incredible to think about. So when you think about it, how often do we overlook the seemingly small, accidental acts from the most unlikely sources that end up having such monumental consequences? Mr. Satan, the self-proclaimed fraud, became the key that unlocked the planet's salvation. It makes you wonder about the unexpected conduits of heroism in real life, doesn't it?
That's a powerful point, and it makes you reconsider the traditional definition of heroism, doesn't it? This is precisely where his narrative function truly shines. He became a hero by happenstance whose massive ego ironically saved the world. By allowing the public to wholeheartedly believe he was Cell's savior, he effectively preserved global peace and order from a public relations standpoint.
Right. Imagine the alternative. Chaos.
Exactly. Imagine the sheer, unadulterated panic and chaos that would have ensued if the world truly knew about beings like Cell, or the godlike reality-bending powers of Goku and Vegeta, who could level cities with a single punch. Mr. Satan provided a convenient, easily digestible, and, to the public, believable cover story.
The ultimate PR move.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Mr. Satan provided a fundamental way for the Dragon Team's incredible, universe-altering battles to be understood and accepted by the normal populace without exposing them to the terrifying reality of beings like Cell, Majin Buu, or even Beerus the Destroyer. He essentially shielded humanity's collective sanity from the cosmic horrors that were routinely threatening their existence. It's a role no one else could fill. This raises an important question. Can someone truly be considered a hero even if their intentions aren't purely altruistic, or if their actions are largely accidental in their initial execution?
Good question.
Mr. Satan's actions at the Cell Games were certainly not born from a conscious, self-sacrificing desire to save the world, but they had unequivocally heroic outcomes. He didn't mean to be the catalyst, but he was. It fundamentally challenges our traditional definitions of what truly makes a hero. Is it solely about intent? Or are the outcomes, the consequences of one's actions, just as, if not more, important? For Mr. Satan, it was clearly the latter.
It's incredibly easy to dismiss Mr. Satan as just a big-headed, cowardly clown, one-note caricature. But when you truly peel back the layers of his exaggerated personality, you find a surprisingly complex character full of contradictions. There are certainly undeniable flaws, yes, but also a fundamentally good individual underneath all that showmanship and bluster. It's a fascinating dichotomy. So let's address some of those flaws first, because they're definitely part of his charm and relatability. He's described in the sources as quite an unrepentant leech, someone whose head is easily turned by a pretty face and who is quite fond of women.
Oh yeah, that side of him.
After his wife Miguel passed away, he shamelessly used his fame as the hero who defeated Cell to seduce and sleep with multiple women. This understandably caused a significant rift between him and his strong-willed daughter Videl, who found his behavior embarrassing and disrespectful.
Yeah, Videl wasn't having it.
His loyal manager, Miss Pizza, is even implied to be one of these women, highlighting how his personal and professional lives blurred under the influence of his fame. And then there's the notorious Bob and Margaret adult book. He even owned a copy himself, just like the notoriously perverted Master Roshi. It showcases a side of him that's far from pure or heroic in the traditional sense, but here's where that complexity really comes into play, a moment that reveals a fascinating, almost contrasting moral compass at play within him.
The Boo moment.
Exactly. When Majin Buu, this incredibly innocent, childlike, yet monstrously powerful being, found a copy of Bob and Margaret in Mr. Satan's possession, Mr. Satan actually tried to convince him to return the book. He told Buu that it wasn't the type of book someone as pure-hearted as Buu should be reading.
Which is wild, considering Roshi basically used it as a textbook for Goku.
Right. It's a stark, almost ironic contrast to Master Roshi, who, let's not forget, readily exposed Goku to similar adult content in his youth, and even used Bob and Margaret to teach him how to read. So while Mr. Satan himself might indeed be a leech and clearly indulges in such material, he at least recognizes that it is bad to encourage lecherous behavior in others, especially someone as impressionable and innocent as Boo.
It shows a line, yeah, a weird hypocritical line, but a line nonetheless.
That's a fascinating little detail, isn't it? It shows he has a moral line, however hypocritical it might seem, that he won't cross when it comes to influencing others, particularly the impressionable. And despite all the showboating, the lechery, and the undeniable cowardice that defines so much of his public persona, he is, at his core, a fiercely protective family man.
Definitely, especially with Videl.
His protectiveness of Videl is clear from the get-go. He famously wouldn't allow her to date any boy unless they were demonstrably tougher than him.
Yeah, good luck finding that guy pre-Gohan.
Exactly. It was his way of trying to ensure her safety, albeit in a comically overbearing manner. And after the Majin Buu conflict, a conflict he played an instrumental role in resolving, he fully accepted Gohan into the family, likely recognizing Gohan's true power, his immense strength, and his inherently good nature.
He saw the good in Gohan.
But his deep, abiding care really shines through with his granddaughter Pan. You see his absolute panic during her world tournament matches, constantly worrying about her safety, fretting over every move, even though she is incredibly powerful herself.
Total grandpa mode.
Totally. He's incredibly proud of her abilities, always cheering her on. And in Dragon Ball GT, he even starts to see her as a potential successor to carry on his legacy, perhaps even the true legacy of Earth's champion. He's truly a doting, devoted grandfather, putting his own fears aside for her.
It's precisely these contrasting traits that elevate Mr. Satan beyond a mere caricature and make him such a compelling, enduring character. Despite his obvious greed, his immense vanity, and his profound cowardice, the sources consistently stress that he is, at his core, a fundamentally honorable, decent, sensitive, and kind-hearted man.
You really see it sometimes.
We see this unequivocally in his genuine, unadulterated care for protecting the innocent and his righteous anger when he witnesses the abuse of helpless individuals. A perfect example is when the despicable villain Van Zant nearly killed his beloved puppy, Bee.
Oh man, that scene.
In that moment, Mr. Satan's fear vanished, replaced by a pure, unadulterated fury, demonstrating great courage when his family and friends are threatened. His fury when he dispatches Van Zant, not with a ki blast, but with a surprisingly effective punch, is palpable, demonstrating a profound hatred for senseless violence and injustice that overrides even his deeply ingrained fear. His true colors are foreshadowed much earlier than you might expect, all the way back at the Cell games when he risks his life, however clumsily, to get Android 16's head to Gohan. That was the first true crack in his facade.
Good point. A hint of what was coming.
But it's undoubtedly in the Majin Buu saga that he is truly revealed to be a fundamentally good man as opposed to the arrogant showboat persona he exhibits. His surprising bravery and his extraordinary, almost unbelievable kindness towards the good Majin Buu become absolutely central to Kid Buu's ultimate defeat. Without his intervention, without that incredible bond he forged, the entire saga would have ended in absolute despair. What's also compelling is the evolution of his ego throughout the series. While it's always present, a constant companion, his overwhelming ego has gradually receded with age and experience, showing the hero he has always wanted to be inside to the world.
Less about him, more about helping.
Kind of. We see less of the blatant self-promotion and more of a genuine desire to protect and help, even if still framed through his public image. He develops a deep, unwavering belief in his friends and family, and when truly pushed, when those he cares about are in danger, he will even look past his own safety in the face of comically overwhelming odds.
Yeah, he steps up sometimes.
This isn't just growth. It's a profound maturation from pure self-interest to a more selfless, if still comically flawed, heroism. He ultimately represents the best that the common human has to offer when confronted with these outlandish beings of immense destructive power. He shows that courage doesn't mean being fearless. It means acting despite your fear.
Now, if the Cell games were an accidental turning point for Mr. Satan, then his relationship with Majin Buu was nothing short of miraculous, an act of sheer, impossible, almost divine compassion.
Absolutely.
This was the impossible, the unlikely friendship that became a cornerstone of the entire Buu saga, showcasing a kind of strength that no physical power, no amount of energy blasts could ever match. It truly revealed his unique form of heroism. Initially, his interaction with Buu was pure, unadulterated comedic terror. Mr. Satan was literally sent by the world's leaders to defeat this monstrous pink entity, and he was driven by abject fear and the desperate, crushing need to live up to public expectations.
The poisoned chocolates.
Right. He tried every cowardly trick in the book. He attempted to assassinate Majin Buu with poisoned chocolates, which Buu simply found delicious. He even tried a rigged video game, only to be effortlessly defeated. He even famously pretended to eat Buu's human-shaped candies, only to discreetly spit them out when Buu wasn't looking.
Pure comedy gold.
The comedy was undeniable. But then something truly unexpected, something genuinely profound happened. His unexpected sincerity. He realized that fighting was useless and that he needed to try a different approach, one that didn't involve his fists. This was the turning point, a moment of profound empathy. Instead of continuing to fight, Mr. Satan began to genuinely connect with Majin Buu on a human level, despite Buu's monstrous appearance and past actions.
He saw the kid inside, maybe?
Maybe. He brought Buu food, not as a trick, but as a genuine offering of friendship. He taught him right from wrong, patiently explaining why destruction and hurting others was bad, using simple, relatable examples. And crucially, he introduced him to the puppy bee, a moment that melted Buu's heart and formed a genuinely heartwarming bond.
The catalyst.
This bond completely transformed Fat Buu from a destructive, chaotic force of nature into a gentle giant, a childlike, good-natured being. Mr. Satan, seeing Buu's innocent reactions, realized that Buu was in fact innocent himself. He understood that Buu didn't grasp the concepts of right from wrong due to the malevolent, manipulative influence of Bibidi and Babidi, who had simply used him as a tool of destruction.
That realization was key.
This profound realization led him to patiently, sincerely convince Buu that his past destructive actions were wrong, teaching him compassion and empathy for the first time in his existence. It's an astonishing transformation, not just for Buu, but for Mr. Satan himself.
That's a fantastic point, and this bond, as you mentioned, wasn't just a heartwarming side story or a moment of character development. It was absolutely profound in its impact on the narrative and Mr. Satan's entire character arc. It proved definitively that Mr. Satan's true strength wasn't in fighting, wasn't an energy blast, but in his charisma, his surprising kindness, and his extraordinary ability to see the good in even the most monstrous, chaotic beings.
That's a power in itself.
It is. This is a strength that rivals any energy blast or physical might in the Dragon Ball universe, because it achieved something power could not. It changed a heart. This friendship was absolutely crucial to the Buu saga, averting countless further deaths and setting the stage for the ultimate resolution.
Seriously, the world owes him for that.
Without Mr. Satan transforming Fat Buu into a benevolent being, the saga would have spiraled into unimaginable, uncontainable destruction, likely ending in the complete annihilation of Earth. And consider the sheer number of lives he saved through this bond. He saved Bee, the innocent puppy. He saved Vegeta, who Buu, in his rage, had tried to kill. And he even saved Majin Buu himself in a truly poignant moment. When Buu lay helpless, beaten, and severely weakened by the pure evil of Kid Buu, Mr. Satan, filled with genuine affection, tearfully begged Vegeta to spare his life, demonstrating a depth of loyalty and friendship no one expected.
Wow, standing up to Vegeta for Buu.
He was even ready to risk death to protect him, standing defiantly in front of the formidable Kid Buu to shield his friend. This act of selfless, unconditional love for his friend was so powerful, so moving, that it moved Goku enough to join in his defense, allowing the formerly evil monster to be separated and start a new life as a hero and benefactor to society.
Goku saw it. He saw the heart.
Goku, the strongest warrior, was moved by Mr. Satan's human heart. If we connect this to the earlier discussions, this entire arc is the ultimate manifestation of his extraordinary humanity and kindness, and his profound hatred for senseless murder and violence. It's the climax where his genuine heroic spirit, previously hidden behind layers of ego and profound cowardice, fully blossoms and is revealed for all to see. It's not about fighting, it's about connecting, empathizing, showing compassion, and ultimately changing hearts. That's a kind of power that transcends the physical realm in Dragon Ball.
And this brings us to Mr. Satan's most defining moment of heroism, a moment that truly showcased his unique form of power and influence, a power derived not from ki blasts or super strength, but from his voice, his charisma, and his connection to the common man. It was a moment that truly changed the fate of the universe. During the absolute climax of the battle against Kid Buu, Goku was desperately in need of energy for the colossal spirit bomb, Earth's last hope to defeat the pure, destructive evil.
The big one.
He pleaded with the people of Earth, begging them to raise their hands and contribute their energy, but they were selfish, skeptical, or simply didn't understand the gravity of the situation.
Nobody listened to Goku.
Who stepped up? Mr. Satan. Knowing the Z-Fighters had truly saved the world time and again, he decided to use his fame for good. With an impassioned speech broadcast across the globe, appealing to their trust in him, he convinced every single person on Earth to raise their hands and give their energy something even Goku's earnest pleas couldn't achieve. The sources particularly note his genuine, righteous anger at the Earthlings' selfish comments and hesitation, revealing that despite the lie he was telling, claiming he was the one fighting Buu and needed their help, his motives were purely genuine and heroic. He was truly furious at their short-sightedness, demonstrating his deep care for humanity's survival. This was the moment his lie became a truth. His immense, albeit fabricated fame was finally used for genuine good, for the ultimate benefit of all mankind.
His reputation saved the day.
The world rallied behind him, placing their trust in the champion they knew, enabling the formation of the incredibly powerful spirit bomb that led to the ultimate defeat of Kid Buu. It's an incredibly powerful moment that solidifies his unexpected, pivotal role as humanity's unlikely champion. It shows that sometimes perception is reality, and that reputation can be wielded as a weapon for good.
And his influence didn't stop there. He continued to be a key player, even cosmically, in Dragon Ball Super. Remember how he inadvertently saved the Earth from Beerus' initial rage, simply by introducing the god of destruction to delicious Earth food?
Yeah. Saved by snacks.
Beerus was about to destroy the planet in a fit of peak over-pudding, and Mr. Satan's quick thinking, his instinct for hospitality and negotiation, genuinely averted an apocalypse. His ongoing influence extends to being a key player in galactic events due to his perceived power, proving that his charisma holds sway even over gods of destruction and alien invaders. His reputation alone, even when mistakenly applied, served as a powerful, almost mystical shield for Earth. In Dragon Ball Online, his public image was so pervasive, so convincing, that it was able to fool even aliens and Frieza's honor guard.
Seriously, Frieza's guys.
Yep. They mistakenly assumed he was genuinely responsible for defeating Frieza and unbelievably decided to wait to invade Earth until Mr. Satan had passed away.
Wow, that's effective.
This effectively protected Earth from invasion for decades, simply by his mistaken renown. Of course, truly powerful entities like Frieza and Cell, who knew the true power dynamics, weren't intimidated by him. But for the vast majority of lesser alien threats, Mr. Satan's name, his fearsome reputation, was enough to deter them. Beyond the grand world-saving gestures, his talent for persuasion and his smooth talking also came in incredibly handy on a regular basis. He constantly created cover stories to supply the media with to explain various phenomena caused by the Dragon Team's literal earth-shaking battles.
Someone had to do the cleanup PR.
Exactly. Imagine the sheer global chaos if the public knew about every single city destruction, every crater, every unexplained explosion caused by the Z-Fighters' battles. Mr. Satan consistently provided a palatable, albeit completely fabricated narrative that kept the populace calm and oblivious to the true nature of their planet's defenders. He became the ultimate PR manager for the Z-Fighters, and his generosity shouldn't be overlooked either, especially as his character evolved. After being fully accepted by Goku and his friends, a group of individuals who cared little for wealth but much for kindness, Mr. Satan showed monetary generosity, giving Goku a substantial sum of money for Goten's schooling.
Which Goku probably needed.
Definitely. He even famously gave away the 200 million zeni he received from the World Peace Prize to Goku, understanding Goku's financial needs, and even offered it to Vegeta, who, being married to one of the richest women on the planet, obviously refused.
Yeah, Vegeta didn't need it.
He also built a massive mansion-style house for Videl and Gohan when they started their family, showing his deep commitment to his loved ones and using his wealth to ensure their comfort and security. He truly believed his family deserved the best and consistently acted as their financial benefactor, a true family man in every sense. Perhaps most touchingly, he and Goku, despite their incredibly vast differences in power and approach to life, developed a special, unique respect for one another.
An unlikely pairing.
Very. Mr. Satan genuinely admires Goku's otherworldly might, even though he fears it, understanding its absolute necessity for Earth's protection. And Goku, in turn, respects Mr. Satan's humanity and kindness, which was powerful enough to tame a Majin Buu's feat Goku himself could never achieve through combat alone. Even Vegeta gave him props. He did. Vegeta, the proud Prince of Saiyans, even grudgingly remarked that Mr. Satan might be the savior of the world after all, when he helped with the spirit bomb and carried him out of harm's way. And in Dragon Ball GT, a more mature Goku himself called Mr. Satan a true hero for putting his life on the line to save Pan. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Mr. Satan truly represents the best that the common human has to offer in the face of the outlandish beings of power that so frequently threaten their world. He demonstrates time and again that you don't need energy blasts or Saiyan transformations to be a world saver. All you need is a big heart, a bit of charisma, and a surprising amount of courage.
Now let's dive into something that often confuses fans, especially those of us in the West. Mr. Satan's name, or rather his many names.
Oh yeah, the Hercule thing.
Exactly. It's a fascinating linguistic journey that offers a unique look into cultural contexts, the intricacies of localization efforts in global media, and how something as simple as a name can carry so much baggage. His real name, as revealed by Akira Toriyama himself, the creator, is Mark, which is a romanization of a clever rearrangement of Akuma, the Japanese word for devil.
Mark. Huh. Didn't know that part.
Yeah. Interestingly, in his home region within the Dragon Ball universe, there's no distinction between given and family names, so he's simply Mark. But Mr. Satan is his famous wrestling alias, his stage name, the persona he created for the World Martial Arts Tournament.
Okay, so Satan is the stage name.
Right. In Japan, this Satan connotation was indeed intended to have a biblical overtone, a nod to a powerful, perhaps even intimidating figure. But critically, it doesn't carry the same intensely negative, religiously charged significance as it does in Western cultures, where the name Satan is almost universally associated with ultimate evil. It's an important cultural distinction that often gets lost in translation. This cultural difference led to the most common name change we're familiar with in the American version and English-translated manga, Hercule.
Because Satan was too much for Western audiences back then.
Pretty much. This renaming was largely because Mr. Satan was considered too offensive, due to its explicit biblical connection in Western markets, particularly for a character who, despite his flaws, ends up being a hero. This new name, Hercule, actually originated from the French Dragon Ball Z dub, where it was based on Hercules from Greek mythology, a figure synonymous with strength and heroism.
Ah, from the French dub. Interesting.
The change also served a practical, internal purpose in those early dubs, to distinguish him from Piccolo, who was oddly renamed Satan Petit Cœur, Little Heart Satan, in French.
Wait, Piccolo was called Satan too. Wild.
Other early English products even briefly called him Mr. Savage. And then there's the unique case of the Philippines, one of the only two Christian nations in Asia. There, the name Mr. Satan would indeed sound very unpleasant, so he was dubbed Master Pogi, which literally means Master Handsome, and Satan City, his hometown, became Pogi City.
Master Handsome. That's amazing.
It's incredible how much a name can change based on local sensibilities. Interestingly, South Korea, the other Christian nation in East Asia, controversially kept his original name. It highlights a fascinating array of localization decisions.
These diverse localization decisions truly highlight the different cultural sensitivities and the immense efforts made by studios to make the series palatable and successful for different international audiences. While some regions, like the Mexican Intertrek dub or Funimation's Dragon Ball Z Kai and Dragon Ball Super, with some specific exception, ultimately decided to keep Mr. Satan as his name, many others, particularly in earlier dubs, switched to Hercule for instant recognizability and to avoid any potential religious offense for Western fans. It was a pragmatic choice for broader market acceptance. It's also interesting to observe the disconnect that sometimes arose between Toriyama's original intent and some of these localized interpretations. For example, Shonen Jump, VIZ Media, famously stated for a long time that Hercule was his real name, while Mr. Satan was just his wrestler name.
Which we now know isn't right, because Toriyama said Mark.
Exactly, which directly contradicted Toriyama's actual explanation that his true given name is Mark. This kind of reinterpretation by localizers often led to confusion among fans trying to understand the canon. Modern video games, as a fascinating microcosm, show a mixed and evolving trend regarding his name: Super Dragon Ball Heroes. World Mission, for instance, boldly leaves Mr. Satan uncensored, including his signature Rolling Satan Punch, a nod to the original Japanese.
Oh, cool. They're starting to use it more.
Sometimes. However, popular mobile titles like Dragon Ball Legends still predominantly use Hercule, likely due to either continued ingrained censorship policies or simply to maintain recognizability for its vast Western player base. But then, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, a major console game, made a significant, groundbreaking move. It became the first major English localization to use his actual real name, Mark, early in his career within the game's story before he became famous.
Wow. Okay, so they used Mark and Satan.
Yes. And Kakarot also consistently refers to him as Mr. Satan and keeps Satan City uncensored throughout the rest of the game, marking a definite shift towards more faithful translation and a greater trust in the audience's understanding of context. This all ties back into the broader Dragon Ball tradition of playful name puns. We know, for instance, that Videl is an anagram of devil, and Pan can mean either the Greek mythology figure or simply bread in Japanese.
Right, the puns are everywhere.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, the evolution and variety of Mr. Satan's name itself mirrors his complex and multifaceted role in the series, from a potentially controversial figure to a universally recognized, albeit comically flawed, hero. The names themselves are a miniature reflection of his journey, his impact, and the fascinating cultural bridge Dragon Ball built.
So what does this all mean? Mr. Satan's journey in Dragon Ball is truly one for the ages, a masterclass in unexpected character development. From his bombastic, boastful showman persona and his essential role as primary comedic relief, he subtly, yet profoundly, evolved into an unintentional catalyst for victory, an unlikely friend to a cosmic monster, and ultimately a true hero of immense, understated influence.
Yeah, quite the arc.
His enduring legacy isn't just rooted in his humor, which is undeniable. It's deeply tied to his surprising heart, his profound humanity, and his unique ability to connect with people on a level that even the most powerful Z-fighters couldn't. He reminds us that courage isn't the absence of fear, but acting despite it. He proves, time and again, that influence, compassion, and a surprising purity of heart can achieve what brute strength alone cannot. In a world populated by literal gods and planet-shattering powerhouses, Mr. Satan, the seemingly ordinary world martial arts champion, stands as a testament that true heroism comes in many forms, often the ones you least expect. He truly is, in his own unique, hilarious, and heartwarming way, the undisputed world champion.
This raises an important question for all of us. In a world increasingly focused on quantifiable power, visible strength, and tangible achievements, what other unlikely champions might we be overlooking in our own lives or in the narratives around us? Who are the people who impact society through their charisma, their unexpected kindness, or even their accidental interventions without ever lifting a finger in a fight?
That's a good thought.
It challenges us to look beyond the obvious metrics of power and consider the subtle yet profound ways that ordinary individuals can shape the world.
Absolutely. The next time you see Mr. Satan on screen, flexing for the cameras or cowering from a cosmic threat, remember the incredible depth beneath the laughs. He's far more than just a punchline. He's a pivotal character who shaped the fate of the world multiple times over, not with his fists, but with his heart. That's all for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an eye out for those unexpected heroes hidden in plain sight.